internet that have good quality reporters and journalists and so forth that check their facts, and until you start to read what is really happening in America and around the world, you are going to be led down a primrose path.
Yes, yes. And the let me just kind of switch over here and ask you. We've got the illegal aliens over here, and Arizona's trying to pass a law against it, and the government is suing us.
Yes.
Now they're using the illegal aliens to bring the marijuana up, the cocaine up, the heroin up from Mexico. They're using them on that, and
Yes.
And you know, we've had Homeland Security put our Border Patrol agents in jail that were successful in stopping somebody smuggling 800 pounds of marijuana up here.
Absolutely. It's almost anything that you see from these people basically is about 180 degrees from what should be done, because what you're seeing is I believe the direct action to try to collapse our system so they can rebuild it in their communist way, or fascist, maybe combination of both. I'm not sure exactly, but everything that they're doing is they're supporting our enemies and basically downplaying our allies and so forth around the world. Everything that you see is exactly opposite from what it should be. Whether or not some of these people who are doing it really believe in what they're doing is irrelevant. The fact is they are doing it, and if we do not stop this. Now, the illegal alien question is an issue that should be discussed in the open. It's not. It's being forced upon us by Washington. In fact, Thomas Jefferson, and I use this quote in the book, basically said, and I'm paraphrasing now, that when all power, and he came back from France. He went over to France as an ambassador and so forth. He supported the French Revolution when he was still here in America. But when he got over there and saw what the French Revolution was based upon, and it was based upon the writings and the philosophies of Jean Jacque Rousseau. He's a French writer, philosopher, and so forth that followed John Locke in England. Our Constitution is based on John Locke. The French Constitution is based on Jean Jacque Rousseau, and I'm telling you, it is being played out here in America to a T today, because it basically says that all power must reside in the state or the nation, and be over every individual, and every individual has to comply with it. That's what we're seeing, and that's why the Obama administration is trying to subdue Arizona and its rights, its states' rights to protect itself. It really wants to tear down that constitutional basis of states' rights, and that's what it's really going after. And we need to address this issue, but we need to address it, I believe, according to the existing law. Most of the cases, even in the Gulf, where the BP disaster, we don't know exactly what's happened yet, but everything indicates that BP was trying to take shortcuts and so forth. The existing law, if that was the case, the existing law would have taken care of it if it was imposed upon BP. It would have never happened. But it wasn't. They were lax. Whatever the case might be, as we'll eventually find out. The fact is that the law already exists. So what do? We pass a new Clear Act that's going to be coming up here right when the Congress resumes. That will even more imposition on our oil industry and chasing even more oil development overseas and making us even more dependent upon overseas oil. Everything that they're doing is exactly the opposite of what should be done, and it's time to stop it. In the immigration issue is a classic example. We've got to stop and begin to control our borders. We have the laws to do it. We just don't have the manpower to do it, and Washington refuses to give us the manpower. These states, the manpower. Arizona begins to say, all right, to protect our own citizens, we've got to do this, and immediately Washington attacks Arizona. And the political machine, everything that you have seen against Arizona, all of this, that is the enemy, folks. It's well-oiled. They can spend billions of dollars trying to convince you that Arizona is an evil state and so forth. Don't believe it. Don't believe this stuff. When you see somebody being attacked, immediately be suspicious. Now, sometimes they deserve attack, but immediately be suspicious that maybe what this person or this organization or the state or whatever the case is really just following the law, and they're being attacked because the global elite do not want that. They want to tear that down. And really start getting at the truth. You've got to start doing that, or we are a lost nation.
Now, you know, I've said, Michael, if I lived in Acapulco, which is one of the most beautiful areas on earth, and I couldn't work, I couldn't feed my family down there, I'd be walking up here with the illegals.
Yeah, absolutely.
The government here, I tried a few years back. I was running a factory up in Phoenix, and I tried to hire rehire my foreman, who had got deported, and I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it.
And here you were trying to get him a green card, and
yes.
And the federal government will allow you to do that.
That's right. They forcing these people to be up here illegally, and if they just processed them and made it a little simpler for somebody to come up here to be a farm worker, for somebody to come up here and be a glass blower, then we wouldn't have
this problem. Obama wants comprehensive immigration reform to basically open the floodgates to these immigrants so that they would have a new block of voters for the Democratic Party. Because that's exactly what would happen, is because you're allowing basically ignorant, and I'm not talking about stupid, I'm talking about ignorant people who are very easily swayed by politicians that said, you know, if you vote for me, I'll give you what you want. And that new voter bloc, until it's been here a generation or two, is going to basically vote Democratic every single time, because that's the Democrat promised the moon. And we know that ignorance, because they're not educated, the ignorance of those people will help their particular political persuasion. Where we should have immigration reform that allows exactly what you're talking about. It should allow the ability to bring educated individuals and giving them a green card in a way that doesn't compete directly with jobs that Americans want. It can be done, but that's not what the immigration reform issue is all about. It's about opening the floodgates to immigrants.
The whole drug scene, all these cartels. Now, I just did a story across my desk that Canada is really upset with California now. Californians are upset with Arizona because we pass as illegal immigrants, but Canada is all upset with California because they're talking